Welcome to the Hire Yourself Podcast. My name is Pete Gilfill, and I'm here with my business partner, Nat Truitt. We're all about helping people become better business people or just become business people. Good morning, Nat.
Good morning, Pete. I'm looking forward to it today.
Oh, I am super pumped up.
What is on the docket for today?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm super pumped up because in about a week, I get to do my favorite thing.
Wash your car?
No, that's one of my favorite things. But so I don't know if I told you, but I'm one of those, I'm very intense. And so my muscles are always very tight, right? And it's a problem. I'm really too tight from that standpoint. And so I got introduced to stretching and myofascial release a few years ago, and that's changed my life. And so as I think a little bit, as I get to go do that in about a week, and that brings me joy and all that kind of stuff. So as we look forward, I think this idea of muscle release and all that kind of stuff, that's going to help everybody going forward. It's medically recommended for people now to reduce stress and get all that stuff out of their bodies.
Well, hey, if the doctor recommends it, I'll go get a massage.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you'll get a free massage out of this whole thing anyway. So we have a very special guest, a friend we've known for a long time, Jen Olson. Jen Olson is the franchise development person or the head of franchise development for the Now Massage. And so welcome, Jen.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you, Pete. So happy to be with everybody.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So the Now, we're super excited to talk about this because this idea of getting released and all that kind of stuff. But, as I think a little bit about the industry that you play in, the massage industry, there's a lot of competition out there, both on the high end and the low end and all that kind of stuff. And so my first question for you with the Now is, as you're coming in, you're a newer franchise concept. What is one of the things that as you look to join the industry, what's separating you from the others?
Sure. That's a great question. The best way I can describe it to paint a picture, there's kind of two ends of a spectrum that exists out there in massage for consumers today. So one end of that spectrum, I call it the discount options, right? These are the mom and pops. These are the shopping center chains and brands, the massage envies of the world, Elements, Hand and Stone, several other brands that kind of came out after the fact in the franchise space, but they're all kind of the same. They're all kind of copycats, look the same, do the same, can be quite questionable quality. Their look and feel is very kind of clinical and sterile with their decor. And pricing can be real sporadic too, especially with the chains. They like to lure you with a low price. And then once you go back for the next one, it jumps up dramatically unless you want to be a member and get locked in for 6 or 12 months. The other end of the spectrum for massage is going to be the high-end luxury spa resorts, the Berks, the Four Seasons, which cost an arm and a leg, make you spend a whole day or a half a day of your time to go through that whole experience. And you can still leave those places sometimes and feel like, was it even that special or that great? And yet I did all that. So that's really frustrating too. So we just saw a big void, a big hole in this industry where we wanted to create more what we call this affordable luxury category with the Now, which feels in between the two ends of that spectrum. And for us, that means we want to provide that high-end look, feel experience like you are at a 5-star resort in Tulum or Cabo or somewhere beautiful and tropical, but then marry that with the really low, affordable price structure so that our customers can come see us on this repeat sustainable basis and not break their bank account to do that.
Yeah, got it. So as we look at kind of separating yourself, that richer feel when you walk in, tell me how it's different. So I walk into a Now Massage, right? Tell me how that's different, the way in which you set up the facility that separates you from everybody else.
Yeah. So you walk into the Now and you instantly feel as if you've been teleported or transported back to your favorite beach resort in like a Tulum or a Cabo or somewhere beachy and beautiful that we've all been at some point in our lives. So you'll see things like our exposed ceilings, our whitewashed walls, our concrete slab floors. We have beautiful pendant lights and succulent decor. You'll come in, you'll smell a coconut jasmine scent, which is our proprietary scent in the boutiques. You'll hear ocean waves playing over the sound system.
So it's very experiential when I walk in the door.
Very. In our rooms where our services are given, we didn't create the typical box rooms, drywall rooms like the others. We did it all with like this heavy canvas drape and wood beam system, which kind of recreates like a bungalow or a cabana kind of feel, like you're at the beach getting this massage. And
Boy, that sounds really cool. And do people like that? I mean, from the standpoint of it feels like the beach, and you got these heavy curtains and stuff like that. Do people like that?
people love it. And here's what I'll tell you. One of the big momentum drivers for the now is that we've really, because of this more experiential lifestyle aspect that we bring into the industry, we've drawn a lot of the millennial and Gen Z demographic. I mean, we do all services for all ages, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but millennial Gen Zs, they're so about self-care. They're so about what can I do to look good and feel good and come in and take out that cell phone and snap pictures and selfies and Instagrammable content that they love to then go put on social media and text
Sure.
to their friends, right? And so that's a big differentiator. Like you don't see people doing that, whatever their age, in like a massage envy type place or any of those others, not to knock them, but that's just a differentiator, right? So so it's a big advantage for us.
So you're connecting with younger people, that it's more about experience for them than the clinical, this is what I'm going to get. Certainly they want that stuff, but it is, so it's just a little bit more open atmosphere, a little bit more just kind of bringing youth to an industry that maybe doesn't have a lot of youth to it. Is that fair?
Correct. And I encourage any of the listeners, go check out our Instagram page or website. You'll get a real clear picture just from the imaging and stuff that you'll see in the content we push out there as to what really makes us different there.
Yeah. Okay. So it's experiential. I walk in, I like in my favorite beach town, all that kind of stuff. I go into this great experiential room, area, and it's very cool. So tell me a little bit about your services. So how do you guys separate yourself from others when it comes to the services?
Sure. We'll keep it very simplistic, kind of following our very minimalistic, chic kind of look and feel and aesthetic that we have, as I described. We want to keep the menu of our services easy and obtainable. You go again, these high-end spas or these other places, and they've got a little bit of everything. And quite frankly, it's overwhelming for a lot of people. So we want to be the best at massage, which is what we really focus on. And so we have 3 types of massages. They're all Swedish in nature, Swedish toned in nature from what they're providing, but we do give different elements where we can enhance and customize, whether it's through stretching and sports inspired type massage work. We have a healing massage, which is more around the healing aspect and crystals and things like that. And then our basic massage, which is the now massage, which is probably the most common one. And then we also have the enhancements that we offer. We have 9 different enhancements. There are ways so that a customer can come in and even further customize based on how they're feeling that day to get the most out of their service. So things like our deep tissue is a big seller, our gua sha, which gua sha used to historically be used as a tool for facials, but we incorporated it and put it into a modality to use in the body, which is super cool.
And what does that do for you when they put that on?
It helps break up the fascia and the muscles within your body, and it's just a relaxing point. It's just a very unique. You'd almost have to go through it. I encourage you to go check it out yourself.
Yeah, I will absolutely. Hey, and so Nat wanted me to ask you. We were kind of preparing for this. Calm Balm. What the heck is Calm Balm?
Calm Balm is our reworded way of saying it's our hemp product. It's our CBD product, but we had to put these different terminologies around it to be, legally.
Oh, now I see why Nat wanted to know about that. Okay, I got it. Right. So I'm very naive. Oh, that's very cool. And what benefits what does that have? What benefits does that provide?
Well, like most CBD related products and hemp related products, again, when we use it within our lotions and gels, it just adds another layer of relaxation for the customer. So that's something that, again, is super popular. And here's a nice thing too, all of the things that we offer, most of the things we offer with these enhancement add-ons, we do also sell in the store through our now branded proprietary product line. So it allows our customers to take a piece of the now home with them, so that when they are at home, they smell our candles.
I can take the beach with me. I can take the beach experience home. Oh, that's awesome from that standpoint. Okay, so bottom line is I come into the facility, it's experiential. I get this great service that I can add on things, get even more relaxed. That separates you. Now, talk to us a little bit about pricing. You kind of mentioned that, you provide this superior experience for, I guess, a reasonable price.
Correct. We want to be coming in probably somewhere between 10 to 20% lower than those discount type options and brands that I talked about in the market. And then significantly lower, up to 75% lower compared to the luxury brands. So it's going to vary, based on the market of the country where one would be putting the boutique. But point being is that we want to be, giving the best experience, the best price, marrying the two together, and it just becomes that unbeatable, we feel better mousetrap that really enables more people to want to go to the now.
How do you pull that off, right? You give people a superior experience and you give them a kind of the best pricing in the industry. How do you pull that off? It seems like a tough combination to pull together.
Well, here's the nice part. Of, in addition to the look and the feel and the experience that we provide with our design and layout, it allowed us to really draw down the cost to get these built and operate, because there aren't a lot of moving parts going on internally. We're not doing big wet rooms and sinks in the rooms and cabinetry and the walls, the drywall we talked about. So that just lowers our overhead and operating expenses to run these boutiques and certainly get them built and operating. And at the end of the day, it's volume. I mean, quite frankly, we just opened up our net that we're casting to get more customers drawn in. Again, heavy millennial Gen Z draw that I don't think identifies with the other types of players out there today
Sure.
to the massage space. So at the end of the day, it's just busyness. There's volume.
Yeah, so lower, overhead costs, but also you have the ability to provide the experience to more people.
Correct.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, good. So how many now franchises are open out there today?
Yeah, so we're super excited. So the brand started in 2015 by the co-founders. They started with 4 corporate stores based in LA. And after the great success that they experienced with those, within about 2 to 3 years of time of building those out, we then decided to start franchising. So it started in late 2019. And as of today, we have crossed our 100th unit that we've awarded, and growing.
Wait a minute here. So you started kind of in 2019, really got going in 2020. And I think we had a little pandemic there, start in 2020. So you're telling me you've added 100 franchisees during COVID-19?
100 locations. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Congratulations. Nice work.
Thank you. We are pumped about that. And it's really coast to coast and everywhere in between. I think sometimes people think LA based or West Coast or East Coast based brands stay there, and it's heavily, going to be based in those markets, but really it's quite everywhere. We've seen it in Nashville, Atlanta, Denver, Chicago, Vegas, Florida, Raleigh. I mean, you name it, we've got dots on the map and more coming every month.
Well, put a dot by Nat and I. We'll give it a try. So it sounds pretty awesome. All right, Jen, what do you look for as you're trying to add additional franchisees? What characteristics in individuals or business people are you looking for to become a now franchisee?
Yeah, so this model is set up to be a semi-absentee ownership. So even as our co-founders did with their initial flagship locations, they never worked behind the desk checking people in. They never gave massages. And that's certainly what we don't want our franchise owners to do either. It's about working on the business, not in it. So we're looking for folks that are good people-oriented people, right? Because that's really their main role, is to assemble their team, which would consist of their manager, their massage therapists, their experience guides, which are their front desk people there to help check in, check out, guide the experience of the guests. And then empower them, give them that torch, or let them, do the day-to-day, empower them with the ability to deliver that 4-wall experience to the guests, so that as the owner, they're more behind the scenes, helping create that culture and that framework around everything, so that they're keeping the train on the track. So, the people orientation, good leadership experience, be able to build that cultural dynamic within their team they bring on. And then, of course, they're going to be doing more of the business aspect, working on the financial side of the business, watching the KPIs, the metrics, et cetera, which will help them do all of these kinds of things, of course. But I think people that have some of those business acumen backgrounds or skills and experiences are great. A lot of our owners, too, are very health, wellness oriented and just minded in their own personal lives. That's something that's important to them personally. And they see how we do come in and fill a void in the market. And it's a private ownership business. At the end of the day, people love it. They're very proud to say, hey, I own a now, and this is a beautiful place. I can give people massages, which who doesn't love to go to get a massage, right? I mean, so it's a really big pride of ownership business too.
So what I heard you say is you're looking for people that, number one, are good leaders. They can take this leadership team. Number two is that they're passionate about keeping that culture, that experiential thing when I walk into now, that you give every customer that experience. And then number three is this idea they've got to have some acumen because they're managing the KPIs. But more importantly, is it's about this making an impact in the community. So if they have a desire to make an impact in the community, they would be a good now franchisee.
Yes, you summed it up great.
Excellent. I was going to say, Pete gets an A+ for that summary.
I am trainable, believe it or not. Okay, so Jen, what advice would you give to somebody that's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
Gosh, I love working with people that are getting into their ownerships of businesses or considering it. It's a big step, right? I mean, we work with a lot of folks every day that are coming from corporate worlds and lives, been doing that for many years and trying to break away and build something of their own versus always working for the man. So I would just encourage people to really have faith in themselves and trust in their desires and hearts and beliefs. I mean, it's hard to put that emotional stuff to the side sometimes, but that's part of being a human, right? You have to embrace those feelings, those fears and anxieties and excitements and everything that people have when they're starting something new and embarking upon something they've never done before. So I think the better they can, channel those things into the right direction, that's going to ultimately help them be successful and emotionally committed to their business and invested into their business at the end of the day, is the best advice I can give. Because otherwise, if they're not paying attention to that, unfortunately, that can sometimes get the best of people and play with their subconscious and just never allow them to obtain their dream of owning a business, which is obviously not what we want, right? So
I mean, if you're going to go big and do it. So you shared some advice, but what's the best advice somebody's ever given you?
Wow, that's a good one. Best advice. I would say, the persistency aspect of life, that, you can't let things knock you down. You can't let people say no unless you're really persistent. They continue to tell you no, and then you're like, okay, I'm not gonna, be that kind of person to you. But I think the persistency, just not letting things, sideswipe you and detour you and that kind of thing. Like, I think persistency big, like whether it's personally, professionally, friends, family, spouses, whatever. I think it's key. I think you have to be persistent in life because it's too easy to not do that. And I don't want to take the easy road. I want to be, living the best life I can. And that takes to be persistent.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. It's about being persistent, and it's also about being problem solvers, right? You got to just work through it. You're going to have roadblocks, and you got to your point, be persistent and basically figure it out. And that's what entrepreneurs do. Right. So absolutely. All right. What is your favorite book?
Wow. You know what? I have to admit, I'm not a huge book person. Okay. Ever since I had these things called children about 15 years ago, I don't know if I've listened or read a book. I should say I'm listening more to things on tape and podcasts. And
all right. So, all right. What is your favorite podcast or favorite influencer?
My favorite podcast. So this is kind of funny and totally not even professional related at all, but there's a podcast series called Is This Really Happening? And it talks about all these really odd, bizarre things that people experience in their life and have to go through, whether it's, this, that, the other thing. And I just find it fascinating of these stories that people, everyday people, the world, just come across these unbelievable things and experiences they go through. So that's the kind of stuff that keeps me interested when I'm driving long distances on the road or I'm on the treadmill or something like that. Just things that keep my brain moving versus the stuff where I'd be like, oh, I'm ready to fall asleep and go to bed now, where I
Books tend to do that to me. I 3 pages in, I'm asleep from that standpoint. So what was the name of that podcast you listen to?
Is This Really Happening?
Is This Really Happening? All right. Thank you for that. Well, I'm going to have to listen to that. So Jen, congratulations on what you guys have created with the Now. It sounds like a great experience as you go into it and get a wonderful, relaxing massage at an affordable price, and adding 100 franchisees in terms of development in a pandemic is absolutely amazing. So congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We were very excited and look forward to continuing to bring the Now to everywhere across the country.
Let us know when you're in Chicago. We'll be there. So thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Hire Yourself podcast. For more resources, check out our website at hireyourself.com. And remember to subscribe to this podcast to receive each episode. Please leave us a rating, and we'd love to hear your feedback or suggestions for topics.